Hey everybody, it's MedTech67 again. Sorry, haven't uploaded a video in a while, but life has been hectic to say the least. I'm not going to get into that because you don't care about that. You care about fixing the transits. So let's talk about transit cooling fan. Alright, so the transit uses two electronic cooling fans, at least on the EcoBoost and the naturally aspirated. The diesels, I don't care about them because they're a gigantic piece of crap. I never should have bought it. Sorry if you hear it from me. But on the gasoline engines, they use two electronic cooling fans, and they use a pretty simple but also complicated way of giving two modes of fan speed. That's low speed and high speed. And the way it does that is it does it by either hooking the motors up in series or parallel. Now, I'll go into that here in just a second about what that does and how that works, but by doing that, if you have one fan go out, lose continuity through it, that means you don't have any of your low speed operation, because when the fan, when the computer requests that the fans give low speed, which is about half their normal speed, both of them on, what they do is they're literally linked together like Christmas lights. Power goes in one side of the motor, out the other side of the motor, into the other side of the next motor, out the other side of the motor, and then to ground, right? So if I cause a break in that connection anywhere along that line, that means that no current flow happens at all, no motor spins, right? It's just like a Christmas light. You have one bulb go out, the whole chain will go out, right? That's a series circuit. Well, in a series circuit, amperage stays the same, right? So when I add more resistance to a series circuit, less amperage. When I get less amperage, that means my fan motors will spin slower. That'll give me low speed operation. When I want high speed, I just give 12 volts power to each side, each positive side of each motor, and then ground to each side of each motor. And now, one can fail and the other one will still work because they both have their independent power. So, how do you know if you have a fan out? One, have you overheated? You're probably overheated. It's probably the reason why you're watching this video right now, is you overheated. Transits love to overheat. Well, if you came in and you had coolant in your coolant bottle, or it was just sitting there puking it up, there's still plenty of coolant in the system, congratulations, you have a unicorn of a transit. It hasn't popped one of the 500 coolant leaks they like to have, and it actually just has a problem with airflow. And I'm going to wager to guess this probably happened after you were stuck in stop-and-go traffic, or you were idling at the McDonald's parking lot, something like that. You idled, you overheated, but when you started driving, it cooled off and it wasn't a problem, right? Well, if you pop the hood and you see one fan spinning and the other one's not, then you probably have a coolant fan out. If neither are spinning, I will hold on. Are they being commanded on? There's a really quick and easy way to do this. Just hop in the truck, turn the AC on, and when you turn the AC on, the AC condenser is going to build up a pressure, right? Well, eventually the pressure will get high enough that the computer demands high speed operation out of the fans, which generally means you're going to have probably one fan only come on. If you have one fan that's already out. Or neither of them might come on. You might have both cooling fans out. That's really rare. Usually the driver's side still works. I'll get into why that's a thing. But it's usually the driver's side that keeps working. The passenger side fails first. If you only have one fan come on, I can tell you right now, you probably have a coolant fan out. And there's a really quick and easy way to check that. You want to start her up. Kick your AC on. Put her on max AC. Wait a little bit. And you wait to see a fan kick on. Eventually a fan should kick on, but both of them should kick on. And we'll wait. There we go. We got one fan spinning and the other fan's not spinning. There should never be a time that only one fan is spinning. If I know that I have power coming to both connectors, right, and only one fan works, and I swap them around and the same fan still works on high operation, well, yeah, I definitely have a coolant fan out. It's a quick and easy way to diagnose it. Didn't even have to get a voltmeter out. But real quick, we'll talk about the wiring diagram and how that works for those that care about such things. Get this straight here. So when the LFC here, low speed fan control, when it's actuated, kicks on relay 1, which causes the two motors to basically be hooked in series with each other. And when they're hooked in series with each other, their combined resistance will decrease the amperage that can flow through them, therefore decreasing their speed. But when, excuse me, high-speed fan control is actuated here in relay 2. It gives power directly to each motor, and it gives them ground, and it lets them use their ground directly instead of being passed through each other in series, which means even if one fan were out, the other fan still gets power, which explains why when it's in high speed, you'll get one fan. If one fan's still working, you'll get one spinning. But when it's in low speed, if one fan is gone, no continuity through it, you get no fans spinning. Because like I said, in a series circuit, if you have a failure anywhere in that circuit, the entire circuit fails. No current flow happens. So if you wanted to verify that it was indeed one of the motors that had gone out, you could simply unhook the motor from the where it connects right there into the fan assembly, and jumper the wire across, and on low speed control one of your motors should spin. We verified this when we first diagnosed this truck off camera, but I hope that makes sense. And I can hear it now. Why in God's name did Ford engineer it that way? These damn engineers would crawl through a pile of glass to screw a mechanic. No, not this case. You're not wrong. Engineers suck sometimes. But the reason why they wired it up this way was to eliminate needing to use a part to give you low speed operation. Now, why does it want low speed operation? Well, it doesn't want to spin the fans at high speed all the time, making a ton of noise, and it doesn't always need high speed operations, right? It may only need a little bit of cooling for a little bit to run the AC in cold weather, but it wants to let the engine warm up. So that's why it needs high and low speed operation. Well, to do that, the only way they can accomplish that is one of two ways. They can either put the fan motors in series, which combines their resistance, decreases the amperage, and makes them spin slower, or they could install a resistor in between both of them. That would require more wiring. That would require another part that likes to heat up. Resistors are known for catching fire and causing the whole car to burn down, right? There's a reason why your blower motor resistors for your blower motors on the older vehicles, they were cooled by the blowing air from the blower motor because they would get so hot. And they waste power. It's power that you can't use, right? You're just turning it into heat. Well, by doing it this way, they eliminate the need for a blower motor resistor, and they probably save a lot of parts changers out there, because if you did have a blower motor resistor fail, people would just chuck a fan at it and it still wouldn't work, and then they'd find out they also needed a fan motor resistor. On the diesel, they do use a fan motor resistor, but again, the diesel Transit sucks. You shouldn't have bought it. Go sell it right now and buy a gas one. Sorry if you're hearing that from me. All right, so we've gone over the diagnosis of the fan. We've gone over how to tell if one's out, and now I'm going to show you how to replace it. Now, I'm going to show you how to replace it in the way that you probably would do it in your driveway. Now, the service manual is going to tell you to remove the radiator out the bottom, right? And if you have the turbocharged model, man, that sucks to be you, because you got to remove an intercooler too. Tons of piping in the way, all that good stuff. Or we can remove the headlights, the front fascia, and the core support and take it out that way. If you remove it out the bottom, you got to have a lot of room underneath the vehicle to squeeze that fan out from the bottom. You're working overhead. It's a big old pain in the butt. But if I take all this stuff off the top, okay, that makes it a lot easier to do in a driveway. And honestly, I think it's just easier, period. And on top of that, say you want to replace, radiator hoses, you want to replace some belts, you have a leaking front cover, you're replacing any pulleys, the water pump. Now's a great time to do all that, because it doesn't get any easier when everything's off the front of this truck. And it's a whole lot easier to take this stuff off than you think. So, less yapping, more tearing parts off. Hey, this is Future Harrison. Before you even touch a thing on this, especially if this is your only ride to the parts store, mosey on down to the parts store and get this plastic line that runs from this reservoir bottle all the way over to here on this side of the radiator, because if you haven't replaced it in the last 10,000 miles, when you look at it sideways, it's going to snap and leak coolant everywhere, okay? Or if you want to be one of the super cool kids and just get some coolant, or some clamps and some coolant hose of this diameter and just run you a rubber hose from this nipple here over to the reservoir bottle, you can do that too. Whatever floats your boat. Right? Toolboxes have wheels for a reason. It is not just quitting to go to a shop that doesn't do flat rate. Now, what we're going to start with is we're going to remove these 10 mils. There's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're already missing some clips, but we're going to remove these clips here. We're going to remove both headlights. That's a T27 for each of them. They pop out. Warning you right now, your turn signal tab is going to break for your turn signal light. It's going to happen. Just zip tie it on later. It's not worth screwing with. But if it's older than 20,000 miles, the turn signal tab is going to break. So move your headlights out of the way. And then you're going to pop this guy off right here. After you remove these little clips, you're going to pop this guy back, but not all the way. Just get it off a little bit. You have one, I believe it's an 8 mil that runs back through here. You're going to remove these 10 mils that are along the bottom. I believe there's 4 or 5 of them. And then if you're so inclined, you might want to put some masking tape right here on each side so you don't possibly scratch it, because this guy pops in with clips. This piece right here pops into this fender with a clip. You pop those out, and I can't show you yet, but there's basically little tabs that hold on to the core support from here that you just have to reach in there with a trim tool and pop them off. And then if you don't have sirens, this is ready to literally come right off the front, and that's when we can get to the core support. Forgive me, I'm doing all this by myself today, so I've got no cameraman. Try to get you the best angles I can, but get these 10s out of here. And after that, these little clips. So many Pride drivers are great for this. Next, we'll get the headlights. They are 230. Put your 10 mil back or it will flee. Alright. Now, like I said, the headlight kind of pops up on the back, lifts straight forward. You're going to have 3 connectors on the back. Again, your turn signal tab loves to break. Set these guys somewhere safe. So this is one of the tabs that you're going to have to lift up to get your front fascia off. The other ones live, well, that one's broken, but they live right in there. This one's had its petticoat up a time or two. Now I'm going to get the fender pieces and I'll show you what I meant by that. I removed the 2 little clips that go from this piece into the front bumper, and now I'm just going to gently pull that piece back, and that's as far as I need to go. This one's, there we go, I pop back in, and now that can let go from this, and then right here on from the inside is a 10 mil. Yep. There we go. So underneath, it's 4 bolts. I just took those out to that plastic valence panel that goes to your front bumper. You will have 2 13s right here. Got to take them out. If you do have a license plate here, it's held on there with plastic rivets that you do have to destroy. You have to drill them out to get them out. We never put ours back in. You can go online to Amazon, find all types of decorative pins to cover that up with, or if you do need to run a front license plate, you can just nut and bolt it back on if you'd like, or you can use push clips that you can get from Amazon or your local parts house. But in Oklahoma, we do not run front license plate, unlike our Texas brethren. Alright, so those pieces that I was talking about that clip in, they clip in right here. You can gently pry up on them and pull at the same time. It's kind of hard to do on the phone, but there's basically 3 clips that hold this piece in on each side. Like I said, if you're worried about scratching the paint, you can put some masking tape on each end here so they don't go slapping together. Now I have to remove some siren pieces, something that I imagine you probably don't have to do, but I'll get those sirens unhooked. We'll get this unhooked, and then you'll get to see this thing come off the front. I got that unhooked. It's just kind of hanging loose right now. I will have some emergency lights here that I have to take off. I've already lifted up those tabs that I was talking about. I think I still have one over here. Yep, I do. These are hanging on. There we go. It'll just come out the front here. Hook my emergency lights here. Now we can just set this out of the way. Okay, so as you can see now, we've just got this core support, right? And that is what holds in our radiator and our fan. Okay, so I'm going to take all of this out now. Don't get me wrong, there's a bunch of wiring and stuff to get out of here, especially if it's an ambulance. I've got a little bit more extra than you do, but we're going to take off this whole core support piece, and then that will allow us access to the fans. Alright, so your core support is bolted in with 2 bolts over here, 1 bolt up here on each side, and there's 2 bolts down here on each side. There are some plastic pieces that you're going to have to remove, like these guys right here. And then from there on, it's wiring and your hood latch. You're going to set all that to the side and you'll be able to take this core support out. Now, you're going to want to get a pair of vice grips. You can see that I've reached around this rod and pinched that pin, which allows me to take out my prop rod and the hood stays up. And if you're especially worried, you can do it to both sides. As long as you don't go slapping the hell out of the hood, it won't be a problem. I'm going to start with removing some components. This right here is your hood latch sensor. It lets your computer know if your hood is up. All these little keepers just squeeze on to the plastic. The pry driver takes them right off. And they also interlace around little plastic fingers that hold on to them. Going to get all the wiring off of this core support. Every little bit of it. Plastic pins holding these little air dams, just like the ones that held in the hood. And that one just broke on me. Right out of the way. And if you're working on cars in 2025 and you don't have a kit handy that has plastic push pins and clips, man, you're messing up because you're going to break them, plain and simple. They're going to break. You're going to go through a ton of them. So they're like 14, 15 bucks on Amazon for a universal kit. Spend the money now and get them. Alright, so I got all the wires taken off the core support. I've got the hood latch taken off. It's just sitting right there. This one right here is a bit of pain in the butt. This is an airbag for a restraint system impact sensor. I've removed all the wires where it's just loose and hanging. That way I can unbolt this, pull it back, and then unhook it. Don't sit here and waste your time trying to get to it first. But those are 10s, not 13s. I'm going to go ahead and start removing all the core support bolts. So you may be wondering what happens to the radiator when you take this core support out. Well, nothing. It's just going to sit right there. Right here on each side is where the rubber support is and the core support that the radiator just stabs up into. And when you lift up and off, the radiator is just going to sit there because it's supported on the bottom side. So we'll get these guys off real quick. I got ahead of myself. I still have to remove the power steering cooler. The washer reservoir just clips right in. You just push it off. And then it's got 2 4 bolts for the power steering reservoir that are bolted to the core support. And it'll all just sit there. You don't have to really do anything with them. Let me do that real quick. So easy when you're making a video to get turned around. I'll get you here a second. That'll just rest right there. And I believe those are, it's probably like small torques. That's a T25, is that a 27? It's T30. Now there's an air horn, that, a horn for the air that goes into the air filter housing, not an actual air horn. You just have to pull out of on that side. All right, so we're gonna carefully take that up and out. Like I said, I still have one wire attached here. Now I can have a lot more room to get to this impact sensor. Which ironically does not have a lock lever on it. We'll put lock levers on every other electrical connector, but the thing that sets off the airbag keeps you from dying, nah, doesn't need one. Doesn't need one at all. Forgot to unhook my horns over here. It's not a big deal, just take it nice and slow. Alright, there's my core support out of the way. Okay, this is your fan right here. It gets held in by a couple of tabs. I believe, we'll see here in just a second, it's been a while since I've done one of these, that you can get this out without unhooking any radiator hoses, I believe. Could be wrong, I'm about to tell you. It may help to kind of lift the radiator up and pull it back a little bit to give yourself some room. But it's kind of loose in there right now. Just be careful, don't go yank. I might be wrong, might not have to. But we're going to get these 2 connectors right here that hook onto the fan. Definitely got to unhook those. There's some stuff that is like this coolant hose right here. You have to take that clip out. Didn't even need a trim tool, look at that. And I believe that's it. You should be able to gently pull back that tab right there. And yeah, I mean gentle, because this radiator, well, if that snaps, that's part of your radiator. You lift that on each side and then pull the fan up and it'll come off of its tabs and you can get it out of there. I'm going to put the camera down so you can see what I'm doing here. And I believe we can do this without unhooking the coolant system at all. I'm starting to lose faith. I've got a few things that are holding me up. Let me see if I can make this easier. So, this guy right here is your transmission cooler. It's literally only held in by one little 8mm bolt. And it's got a tab on the bottom. That guy is kind of super in my way right now. It's one of those things that I don't have to have both sides clear. I just have to get one side clear around this, and then that'll give me enough room to shimmy on my way out of there. So I got that out of the way now. Yeah. Here's your cooling fan. Didn't drop the radiator, didn't have to get the truck 10 feet in the air. You'll notice I'm not even the bay with the lift right now. Okay, there we go. That's how you get the coolant fan in out without having to even drain your coolant. Just got to point out that if you did want to replace your radiator, now is definitely the great time to do it. And you'll notice that, well, if you did want to do, you know, a serpentine belt, some pulleys, a water pump, an alternator, reseal the front cover, well, by God, now's the time to do it because you got the whole front of the truck off. But realistically, it wasn't that hard to get here anyway. Part number is going to be Lima Kilo 4 Zulu 8 Charlie 607 Foxtrot is the iteration we're on right now. Let me get this guy unboxed and get him dropped in there and get on with our lives. I'm going to use this time for the people who actually like watch all of my videos and aren't just here to quickly fix their car and get it back on. I know there's a few of you sickos out there that actually watch my videos all the way through. The YouTube analytics told me so. I snitched you out. And use this time to communicate with you fine folk. The reason why I haven't, well, one of the many reasons why you haven't seen a lot of videos from me lately is I haven't been working on transits near as much. I've been working on F350s, F450s, Chevy 3500s, things of that sort. And I just know that my viewer base is a lot of transit people. And I felt like I didn't want to waste the time to make videos that nobody was going to watch. But since I've got you here, is that something you guys would be interested in? You want to see how to fix ambulances? How many of you people are here watching my channel that also take care of ambulances? That's another thing I'd like to know. I just cut myself. So once you get it down there into position, just get your tabs lined up. And it just clicks right in. Just like that. And from here on, literally just a reverse of what you saw me do. Alright, we've got the front back on her. I'm going to fire her up and kick on the AC and hopefully see both fans spin. Once the AC builds up pressure, both fans are spinning. Look at that, low speed. Both fans spinning. And it pretty much, anytime AC is running, pretty much always has it on low speed. It only kicks it on high speed when it's either hot or it senses high pressure on the high AC side. So that's it, guys. I hope that helped with diagnosing and replacing your coolant fan on your Transit with either a 3.5 or a 3.7. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.